Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News. I am your host, Kim, aka Bravo Breaking News on Instagram. And as always, there are more rumors swirling about the Vanderpump Rules and the Valley cast members because there are several allegations that I am going to cover today, some of which might not be true, others might have legs, and some of the cast members are even speaking out about them. Did Jax and Lala ever hook up? Is Brock cheating on Scheana? And what is Luke, Kristin's boyfriend's real motive? I am going to get into everything you need to know about these rumors, but before I dive in, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any Bravo breaking news. So let's start with one that kind of had me shook when I heard about it. And this is the rumor about Jax and Lala potentially hooking up. Now, this was brought up on Lala's podcast this week as one of the rumors that she was going to confront head on. And I don't know about you, but I needed the answer immediately.
The first one I thought about was that I hooked up with Jax Taylor. If you remember season 4, it's still talked about that I've hooked up with him.
They're talking about way back in the day when both Jax and Lala were working at SUR. I believe this was pre-Britney. I don't really know the timeline of events, but I don't know if by the time Lala got on the show, were Britney and Jax already together? But apparently, there was a rumor going around about Lala and Jax hooking up. And if you think about them back in the day, this is something that could have definitely potentially happened. But Lala is nipping it in the bud immediately. She shares on the Give Them Lala podcast this week, that never happened. If you remember season 4, it still talked about that I've hooked up with him, and I'm letting you know it never happened. Was there flirting? For sure. I may have asked him to come over when I was wasted, and I'm thrilled he did not. Did you make out with him or anything? Never, never. And season 4, I'm at a bar with, it's me, we're at a high top table, I remember it vividly. Outside me, Jax, Kristin, and Scheana. And I had my hand on his leg and I was rubbing his leg. But everyone wanted to, jerking him off? Yes, which of course I fed into that. Of course I fed into that, right? And we leave together, but we never went home together. So it kind of seems like this rumor was going around and Lala was intentionally kind of going along with it just to play with the group. But according to her, it never happened. I guess I believe her, but I don't know. I wouldn't put it past them. Honestly, looking back now, I could tell why Lala would be embarrassed to admit something like that. But according to her, it never happened.
It never happened.
She just almost led the cast to believe it did. So I don't know about you. Do you think that Lala is telling the truth? Or do you think something actually happened? Now that Lala has talked about it on her podcast, I wouldn't put it past Jax to also talk about the rumors because we want to get to the bottom of this, let's be real. So since we are talking about Jax, let's hop over to the Valley and also talk about Kristin and her boyfriend, Luke. Now, we didn't really know much about them. I know he co-hosts her podcast with her. He's now on the show with her. But so far, their relationship is a question mark to say the least. You know, he says he lives in Colorado 99% of the time, yet they are planning on having children together, even trying to at this point. He's moving into her apartment, but it's only for the summer, so I don't know. There are definitely some question marks, but there is a new rumor going around that he may not be here for the right reasons. According to a user on Reddit, Luke is using Kristin. I have the pleasure of having mutual friends with Luke, and since he started dating Kristin, he's been saying it's a business decision to be with her, which checks out with his entrepreneurship he's been talking about. He doesn't actually own all 70 acres in Colorado, which is the state in which I am typing this post. He splits it with a guy he worked with at a restaurant we both worked at and just grows hemp and weed. He has never had to work a day in his life and just worked at a restaurant for the discount. I can answer some more about him, and if anyone has any doubts, hit me up. I can prove what I'm saying. Just a little tea for our Friday evening. Now, honestly, this is just a rumor. There is no truth to this. I don't know anything about this guy, Luke. He's still very new to us and new to the group. If you've been watching The Valley, you know that Jax has his own questions about this guy. Who is this guy? What is he doing with Kristin? Is he really serious about the relationship? Well, according to this rumor, maybe he's not. Is he just using her for fame and clout? There's a lot of talk about this online about whether his intentions are pure and whether he really wants to be with Kristin to be with Kristin or to just maybe be in the limelight and, I don't know, get famous. I know that Kristin does really want to settle down and have a family and find her forever. She's been trying to do this for years and years. So I really hope he is in it for the right reasons and not what this rumor says. But I don't know. It will be interesting to see more of their relationship play out on the Valley, get some insights into who he really is. Although, there is a producer from the Valley that recently went on a podcast and is explaining that the couple who hid the most on the show is Kristen and Luke.
Who do you think hid the most from producers or tried to hide the most from producers?
Kristen and Luke.
So are they really showing us their real lives? Is there something more to the story? Is Kristen in on the joke? Is she using him too? I mean, what's the true story? It is a little bit weird that he doesn't live here, yet he's dating her and is on the show and moved to LA for the summer just to be on the show. It's all a little weird, and I hope it's not true, but I have a feeling that there is more to the story that will eventually come out. So let's put a pin in that one for now. Finally, a new blind has surfaced, and a lot of people are saying it has to do with Scheana and Brock. Now, I know we heard rumors last year about Brock potentially hooking up with Raquel. They covered this on Vanderpump Rules. Apparently, it was Tom Sandoval's team that put this rumor out to kind of distance, Sandoval from the drama. It didn't quite stick, and I'm not sure this one will either. But according to Dumois, how about them apples? This payroll husband has been sliding into the DMs of an Aussie influencer. Now, this is very generic, but a lot of people have been calling Brock a payroll husband. He doesn't really seem to have his own job at this point. There was all this drama when Scheana bought their home. It was only in her name because I believe she's the one that's solely paying for it. So yes, Brock has taken on the name of payroll husband. So that is why people think this blind might be about him. And of course, he's Australian. So I don't know. Again, I hope this isn't true. It would be really sad to see Brock break up the family. Him, Scheana, and Summer Moon are just the cutest little family, and I do want nothing but the best for them, even though Scheana annoys me sometimes. But we will see if more comes out about this story. It definitely seems like Scheana, Lala, Jax, and Brittany have definitely been in the news a lot lately. I mean, Jax and Brittany are even talking about Lala, about them potentially coming over to the show The Valley. They both bought homes in the Valley very recently, Lala just this past week, and even Jax says the timing is suspect. Is Lala planning to make a move from Vanderpump Rules to the Valley? What's the future of Vanderpump Rules even? Will the Valley stay on for another season? There is always drama going on with these people. There's never a dull moment. I'm sure that at least one of these shows is going to pick up and continue for many, many more seasons. And whichever show they're all on, I'm obviously going to watch. So it really doesn't matter. So those are the latest rumors about the Vanderpump Rules and Valley cast. What is going on? Is there any truth to these? Will we find out more soon? I will be here to break it all down. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more Bravo breaking news.